Commissioners' work session for Wednesday, February 26, 2020. We have a review of work session discussion meeting minutes. Hearing none. All right. Department head report. Any departments here would like to report anything? Let's see who's on here. Dan Colville is our Director of Public Works.
Good morning. I received an email request late yesterday afternoon from Mr. Michael Dorm. Mr. Dorm is involved with the kids garden that we helped out with last, I believe it was late summer, early fall in New Brighton. The Board of Commissioners granted us permission to put some stone down for them, and he's reaching out to us again, requesting a handicap porta-john be placed on site from May through October. I looked into the contract that we have with Turn 4 Toilets, and a handicap unit, it cost us $86.80 a month. They're requesting it for 6 months, like I said, from May through October. So it would be $520.80. I know that's not much, but it's not something that I had included in my budget. So if this is something that the Board of Commissioners is in favor of, I would probably have to reach out to Corey and see where something could be moved around. So, like I said, I just got this last night. I don't mean to drop it on you so soon, but if it's something you want to think about or whatever, let me know. I'll follow up with an email to you as to what direction you would like me to take with this. Okay? Thank you.
Any other department heads? Hearing none. Solicitor's report.
On your list of resolutions for tomorrow are 29 resolutions listed. A couple of the highlights, 2 through 6 are exonerations. Number 8 deals with snow removal at the various magistrate buildings throughout the county. This individual previously did it. We put it out for bid. He's the low bidder again for the removal. So this is just a new contract for the snow removal for the magistrate's offices throughout the county. 17, 18, and 28 are all correlated. That deals with the coroner's office. These various individuals have contracts to perform various services on autopsies in assistance with the coroner of those duties. Number 26 is regarding the Allen Crest sale, the sale of the Allen Crest property. What this is they have a period to get a government approval. That period recently expired. This is just an extension for them to get government approval. It moves that date to April 24th. The closing date per the contract has not been moved. That's still tentatively scheduled for the end of June. And then 29, that is listed on your list. That's with Tyler Technologies. This is to do training for payroll. It's 24 man-hours of training with payroll in order to get them up to speed and work out some of the kinks with New World. So at this point, I'll entertain any questions on the resolutions, and if there are no questions, we'll need an executive session to discuss litigation and personnel matters.
Any questions for the solicitors? Moving on, Board of Commissioners.
I got a couple of things just want to cover. First of all, I wanted to thank Lidwood Alford and Cindy Cook. They're both part of the Tabernacle Baptist Church. Tony and I were at the event. Connor Lamb was there, several of the judges. Sunday night. It was a great event, kind of a Black History event thing, but it was about the power to heal and the importance of the Medicare Act being passed in 1965, and how that really created a situation where there truly was unsegregated hospital care and health care for all residents and citizens of the U.S. and the struggle it took to have that passed. And it was a very poignant event, and I think an important reminder that not all that long ago, the segregation that took place, even in hospitals across the South, but also in the northern cities. I know it was pretty educational for me.
It was like I was back in the classroom.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With all that. The one thing I did learn, as a Catholic, I can only sit in a church for an hour. It's hard to do 2.5 hours.
It was a full service, let's just put it that way, including a 50-minute documentary. But it was well worth it. I just want to publicly thank them for inviting us. It was a great event. Two other things that I wanted to bring to your attention. One, the Ohio River Trail Council is merging with Riverwise, and many of you know I've been involved with the Ohio River Trail Council for a long time, and we are desperately trying to get a physical trail between Monaca and Aliquippa, and there's some things breaking. And as I've stated before, when it comes to parks, recreation, I believe trail connectivity was, I don't know if Tim Ishman's here, but it was one of the top 3 items that the public said they wanted to see happen. I also happen to think it's a great economic boon potentially for our river towns, and I'm big on those public-private partnerships. So we maybe have some further discussions with Vince Troia, Mario Leone, and Rebecca Matsko, and those folks with the Ohio River Trail Council on how we can play a part to make that happen. Theoretically, on paper, you can go from Cleveland to DC by trails, but there's a gap called Beaver County where we don't have any physical trails there. And I just think it's too important to the future of Beaver County. So I'd like to do some stuff
Is that
there.
the question with the bridge?
Yeah, the bridge and the access to the riverfront through West Aliquippa and down Aliquippa. And
That's the home.
back behind.
That's the home.
I know, near and dear to your heart. But it would also connect the Monaca Bluffs and back behind them all, come through. I think it'd be a great asset for the county, so working to pull that together. And the last thing I just wanted to let you guys know, I'm not sure if you saw the word, there's a public meeting Monday at Penn State Beaver, 6 o'clock, on K-12 education that's been out there. Again, another thing that I've been involved with. I know it's not under our direct purview, but as I said before, I don't think anything's more important to the growth of Beaver County than our educational system. And hopefully they're trying to have a good conversation on the future of what education can look like in Beaver County in 2030 by bringing the right people together, just presenting some data and some facts. Data that I found out, things like 74% of our households do not send anyone to school in K-12. So you've got 26% of the households that do, that have a vested interest, obviously, in those schools. But it seems to me that 74% also ought to have a vested interest in how we're pursuing education in Beaver County. So those are just a couple of things I've been working on recently. I just wanted to keep you guys informed on. So.
The only thing I have is I'm going to be in California, PA tomorrow. So I want to make sure I get my papers before. I'm going to do a conference call for the meeting.
Okay.
Somewhere on 79.
All right, sounds good. The only thing I have is Dan Colville, Tim Ishman, and Tony Caltori all met with Jody McWayne, who is a representative of Brush Creek Parks, Friends of Brush Creek Park. If you don't know, Jody has bundled fundraised $25,000 to put a new playground in at Brush Creek. She did get the prices for $25,000. She's going to go put this playground in and install it through the company. There are some needs of the county. We're going to need about $3,000 for the border and installation of the mulch or whatever we decide to put down. And there's also some extra things that we might be able to do. So I'm going to request to the board that we allot $10,000 from our tourism fund to be able to supply the extra swing set and the extra ADA compliance swing set and ADA compliance merry-go-round if possible. I talked to the law department, I talked to Corey Troutman, the money's there, and the law department says it is okay. So if that is something we can move forward on, I would like to put that request formally into the entire board about that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think the rubber chips rather than wood chips
Okay.
have to be.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we work with the company and they said they provide the actual base and everything. It's
Okay.
included in the initial price, and then they would install the wooden perimeter.
We just have to pay.
And we would have to work with the
we
pathway.
just have to pay for it, that's all. Okay.
Yeah, whatever Corey can come up with.
And the only other thing that I would have is if I'm going to put a request in for Dan Colville to either speak to Youngblood, who is, it looks like he's going to be able to tell me something, speak to Youngblood to put a potential walking trail alongside the right side of the loop at Brush Creek, so the walkers and joggers could be able to go up without having cars, because there's not much room for them to run. But
I spoke with Kurt Youngblood, who is Larry's son. He's the vice president of the company, just this morning. We will work something out, whether it maybe just either maybe widening the road in that part there, or once the actual paving project is complete, we as the Department of Public Works would be able to go in there if need be, an actual pathway of a product to a limestone which packs like concrete.
okay,
You know, we can do something like that. So we have options there. Since we're on the topic of Brush Creek Park, I also spoke with him to find out about when, a recommendation as to when we could start the playground. I explained to him our situation. Of course, it's all Mother Nature, and also the plant. Lindy Paving, the plant in Cobble, is closed down. He's gonna try to reach out to them today and get me an answer by the end of the day as the kind of a date that they're shooting for to reopen. So I'm kind of like in limbo as to when we can start this playground project. As soon as I know something, I'll share it with you all. Also, I have the drainage project is completely finished.
okay.
Okay, so I asked him, I says, do you think it would be okay to open the park up until further notice, you know, whenever we go to move forward with the paving project? The very first words out of his mouth were, well, who's gonna be responsible for liability? So, I know it's not, pardon me?
Did you tell him he would?
I know it's not a popular decision, but I strongly recommend that for the public safety and ours, that we just keep that park closed until this project's done.
What happens if a resident in that area violates and continues to use the park? Because we will probably see that, then whose responsibility is it?
Yeah, I mean,
As long as it's posted.
As long as it's posted that it's,
Yeah.
that it's closed, I mean, that's to an extent what we can do, like I said, unless we put some crazy perimeter around about
We need
150
to take
feet
reasonable
apart.
steps to make sure that people know that it's closed.
It's posted, right, and the chain links
It's
up
been all
across
over
the front.
social media, it's in the newspapers, I mean,
Dan, I've sat in court. You just don't know.
We can give Jim Woolley a chair and he can sit outside.
Yeah,
the
Mr.
gate.
Woolley, enforce that for us.
Something all into
All right. Joe, do you have anything to add to the playground, or?
Yes, I have some more, I have a check for you.
Okay, thank you. All right.
I'll take all the checks.
I'll try to keep this.
It's on there, it's spelled in my.
All right, thank you.
Sandy.
Bless her. Sandy, I'm sorry. Treasurer Agley.
We're talking about playgrounds. If you recall, a couple years ago, we did discuss about none of the county parks have a swing for the handicap for our kids that have disabilities. And since we are talking about a new playground, maybe that's something that we could continue to discuss. I think that I still have the research that I did a couple years ago. If I could dig out my files, it was around $3,000 or $3,500 for a wheelchair swing.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that I remember that the residents had really asked for, and that we didn't have the money or the opportunity to do that in any of our parks at that time. So this might be a good time to bring that conversation back up.
Jody, did you hear that?
Yeah.
All right.
I already.
Brush Creek, she was looking at that, but we can continue to look at the other parks as well, because we should take care of them all, not just the one.
From the conversation we had a couple years ago, it was Brady's Run that was
Yeah.
really looked at
Yes.
as being the center of the county that would be better suited for.
Thank you. Any other business from the board? We will move to audience participation. Lance? Yep, we'll move to you, so.
Thanks. Thank you all. Thanks for the time. It's every day is a great day in Beaver County. Today is an extra special great day in Beaver County. We have packed this house, which is really, really good. We have members of the Pennsylvania Humanities Council, DCED, the Orton Foundation here to make an announcement. And I couldn't be happier about it. As a county, this is a great, great thing. If we take a step back, it's been a labor of love for now close to 3 years. And once again, we take a step back to a few years ago. I've been with the county now working for Redevelopment Authority or the Planning Commission now going on 15 years. And over those 15 years, I constantly hear from people outside the county, and they talk about the woe is me, the woe that we've lost people, we've lost population. And I tell every single one of them to a man, we need to focus on the people that stay here. Because that's the great part. We're not just a place on the map. We are people that make up Beaver County. And we need to focus on the people that are here. We have what I call, and we've cloned this term, you won't find it in any leadership book. Maybe if I write a book it someday you'll find it. I call it unintentional leadership. We have people throughout this county that go to work, they work their butts off all day, they come back home, and they go and they help the community. They're in the community doing things, and they don't even realize what kind of leaders they really are. They have unintentional leadership. They go out and they do things, and they have people follow them because of their hard work, what they're willing to do. And I was looking for a program, have been looking for a program that could come in and maximize that potential. Let those unintentional leaders understand that they truly are leaders, and let them work within their own communities and continue to build this great county that we have. In that process, I went through and I vetted a whole bunch of different programs, and I always kept coming back to one program, the Heart and Soul program. It's absolutely phenomenal, and we applied, we did things different, which is, anybody that knows me is not going to be surprised by that at all. We went out and applied as a county, which hadn't been done. I remember getting a phone call from the Pennsylvania Managed Council saying, "You realize you applied as a county, right? That's not exactly how that's set up." And I said, "I do." And I think that we could start something new here. We could start something here in this county that hasn't been done before. And we can bring in, I don't want to just bring in one community. I want 3 or 4. And I want that to happen now, and I want 3 or 4 in next year. And the following years to come, just continually have more and more and more communities be involved with this awesome Heart and Soul program. And to Pennsylvania Humanities Council credit, and the Orton Foundation, specifically Leanne here, they listened. They didn't think I was that crazy, and over the last 3 years, we've been bouncing back and forth about how this is really going to work and how it can work. And the Pennsylvania Humanities Council has been unbelievable with their time and the willingness to share with us, to have meetings upon meeting upon meeting upon meeting, and work through the process of how this could really work and how we could bring something to this county that hasn't been brought to any place in this entire country. And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal what's happening in Beaver County. It should happen in Beaver County because this is the greatest county in this entire nation. And I believe that. You guys know I believe that. So it's just been tireless. The effort has been tireless. And when I originally went to our commissioners and asked and explained it, once again, my commissioners have been fully supportive over 3 years, just continually to support the thoughts, the ideas that we had, helping me push this forward. I can't say enough about that. For those, we hear so many negative things that go on, and we focus on the negative in this county too many times. When we have commissioners that are willing to allow a department head to go out and find this awesome stuff and giving me the power to go ahead and do that and allowing me to go and do that, it's phenomenal, and it doesn't happen everywhere. It happens here in this county because we have great commissioners that help lead us, right? Unintentional leadership there as well, but they help lead us, they help allow me to do the things that I can do and meet the wonderful people that are going to help build our communities from within. The Orton Foundation has been phenomenal. DCED has also been phenomenal. When you put all those 3 together, you just can't lose. We're just not going to lose, right? It's going to be phenomenal. We're here today because we want to make an announcement and about the communities that were selected. And once again, remember, this isn't something that's been done in the past. This has been new, and it's been a huge labor of love. I got so many people that have been so helpful. And I want to thank all of them. I've had a committee of guys that have helped me work through the process. And done talking, I'm sorry. I'm gonna introduce Dawn. Dawn's gonna come get up and give a little speech here, just to identify the communities.
Thank you, Lance, and thank you, everyone here. I am Dawn Byers. I am the Senior Director of Content and Engagement for the Pennsylvania Humanities Council. And as Lance very kindly set this up, we are here to announce and to kick off our Community Heart and Soul process for three area towns here in Beaver, Rochester Borough, the Borough of Ambridge, and Beaver Falls. The kickoff starts immediately after this meeting in this room. So we came with a large team, and we're excited about working with these people for the next 2 or 3 years. And as Lance said, this is the first time for us to work in a county, and we think that the resources and the shared experience will help all of us grow. We want to thank DCED for their co-funding, and we're excited to get started. Thank you.
No, I've known of the Orton Foundation and stuff for several years. I know Rick Villella was a big fan and promoter of that from DCED. Really excited to have this complement all the great things we're trying to do in Beaver County, particularly in the riverfront towns. You know how near and dear those are to my heart as well, Tony's and Dan's. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Lance, thank you, and the team that helped pull this together.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Tremendous.
Can't do it without you.
Thank you. Any other audience participation? Hearing none, all right. Any reason to reconvene after executive session? We will move into executive session and not reconvene. Thank you.